This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust that you will consider this your vitamin or supplement for your heart and mind. And wherever and however you receive podcasts, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? And if you'd leave a rating and a brief written review, that would be extremely helpful. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, and just about anywhere where you can access podcasts. And please help spread the word. Trust you're having a good day. I want to begin today by asking you an important question. Who are you becoming? You see, the most important thing in life is not what you do or what you are going to do. The most important thing in life is always, who are you becoming? Who are you becoming? I have about 7 things that I think can help us. There could be a whole lot more. There have even been books written on this subject, but in the few moments that we have together, let's talk about some of those things that are the components that go in to making me and making you the person we are and the person we are becoming. The first thing that I want to mention is attitude. You can lose just about everything. You can lose your finances. You can lose in relationships. You can lose your position. You may even lose your health. But there's one thing that no one can take from me or take from you, and that is our attitude. So who you are becoming is somewhat predicated on what kind of an attitude you have. You don't have to be in the presence of someone for very long until you can quickly determine what kind of an attitude they have. There are some people that see the silver lining behind every cloud. They just are positive. No matter how dark and how stormy their situation is at present, they are able to see the sunny side of things. Now, there are those who think that's only disposition and personality. And certainly that has some bearing. But a lot of times, a good attitude is nothing more than a person has trained themselves to think positively. There are others, more pessimistic. I love the pessimists in my life because they continually refer to themselves as realists. And I always want to say, when did the memo come out that negative people have a realistic appraisal of life? I happen to think that positive people have a much more healthy view and a more correct view of life. So yeah, you may have been born, or our parents and other influential people in our lives may have led us and trained us in a certain way, but you can make a conscious effort when you're going through bad times and hard times. And you're going to have to get alone with yourself. If you're a spiritual person, you're going to have to get alone with the Lord and read the Bible. You're going to have to fill your mind with some positivity. But you can train your attitude muscle. I'm going to say that attitude is a muscle, and the reason it's so flabby and negative for so many is they don't exercise it. They just fall into that easy trap of woe is me, and everything is bad, and everything is getting worse. Whatever your attitude is going to determine the kind of person you are becoming. Don't become that person who, when they enter a room, almost all of the energy is sucked out of the room. Be that person that when you walk in the room becomes a better place. And we could do a whole podcast on this, of being interested in others and not just being negative all the time. But who you are becoming is in many ways largely dictated by your attitude. Let me give you a second item that plays into who you are becoming, ma'am or sir. And that is your core values. Not just what do you want to do, how much money do you want to have, how successful do you want to be, but who are you at the core? What do you value? Because whatever your core values are, that's what you become. We have a tendency to reflect and talk and live by a value system. And whatever your values are, whatever you are at the core, is who you're becoming. So if you want to change who you are, you want to become a better you, and one of the first places you need to look to is not only attitude, deep down in your heart, what are your core values? What makes you you? The third item that I want to speak to you about that will dictate who you are becoming and who I'm becoming is, how do you spend your days? What do you do day in and day out? Because that is indeed the building blocks of who you are becoming. You're not just your attitude, but your habits. And what do you do? It is the greatest measure of who you're becoming, is how do you spend your days. For whatever your actions and attitudes are on a daily basis, that is the determining factor in who you are becoming. Not only do you need to have solid values, and not only do you need to have a positive and a good attitude, then you have to take actions and habits and not spending your life and your days on wasted activities, but rather spending your days productively, incrementally, positively, taking steps to make a difference. The fourth thing that will go into determining who you are becoming is your level of commitment. If you have goals and you have values and you have a priority in life, you've got to be committed to it. Life belongs to the committed, those who have a deep-seated passion and a commitment that is informed by their values, is moved along by both their attitude and the actions of their daily life. You have to have commitment. One reason that you must be committed to whatever it is you're trying to accomplish is there are going to be obstacles. There are going to be setbacks. There's going to be opposition. Count on it, expect it. It actually will happen. But as Romacio Fulcher said, there is always a way when you are committed. You know, if you're only halfway committed or half-heartedly committed to something, the first sign of trouble, the first sign of difficulty, when things seem to be going in a different manner than what you intended, is we just throw up our hands and we give up. But when you are committed to a vision, you are committed to a dream, you have a goal, and you are all in, you are totally committed to it, you'll move the mountains. You'll go over them, through them, or dig under them. If you have setbacks, you cry for a few moments, you dust yourself off, you pick yourself back up, and you'll say, I knew this was coming. Dr. Ron told me there would be obstacles and opposition, and I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep moving forward. Listen, you're becoming right now whatever it is you're committed to. Some people are committed to watching 30 hours a week of television, and I don't have the proper words on this podcast to describe what you're becoming. Some people just want to go out and mess around and carouse and not have any sort of purpose in life or values that they're living. Whatever you're committed to is definitely who you are becoming. Well, I think now we're down to number 5. And the fifth thing that will go into determining who you are becoming is how you respond to these setbacks, how you respond to people taking you to task. How do you respond when people react negatively? How do you respond when you feel like you have a message, you have a vision? I'll even say for some of you believe that it is a God-ordained vision that He has given you for your church, your organization. And then when you present it and you're filled with fire and passion and zeal and know this is God's plan and purpose for your life, and not one person responds positively. They begin to pick it apart and tear it apart. Or you try your best at something and it just sort of blows up in your face. How do you respond? Do you just give up? Do you become as critical as the people who are criticizing you? Do you just say, you know, this is sort of what I expected would happen if you tried to follow this and try to do this? I guess I'll never get anywhere in life. Listen, how you respond is not predicated on how people are responding to you. How you respond is entirely up to you. Earlier in this podcast, I said one thing that can't be taken from you is your attitude. How you respond is your attitude adjustment. Yeah, it's great to have a good attitude and to take a positive attitude, but that'll only lead you so far. You have to have your attitude adjustment. It's about how you respond. I believe that one of the things that I've taken from Hal Elrod, and I love his books, his newest book on the miracle equation, I highly recommend it. But he gives me some hope and some really tangible attitude adjustment tools. He uses this phrase, if you can't change it. So that when we come across setbacks in life, we need to ask ourselves first, is this something that I can change? Is this something I can solve? Is this something by putting a little more effort in, I can change it? Or is it something I can't change? If I can't change it, I need to take a deep breath and I need to be at peace. Too many of us are worried, losing sleep, and stressed over things that we cannot change. What Hal Elrod says there is sort of the differentiation I make. I try to tell people, when you're in a difficulty, you have to quickly discern, is this a problem that I can solve? Given enough information, given enough horsepower, given maybe making some adjustments and change, is this a problem I can overcome and I can solve? And oftentimes, that is indeed the fact. It is a problem that can be solved or corrected. But oftentimes, my friends, it's a fact of life. And many of us are fighting facts of life. Or as Hal Elrod says, things you can't change. You can't change who your parents were. You can't change where you were born. You maybe can't even change a lot of things where you work. But if you can't change it, and I'm not talking about a problem, but something that is completely and totally out of your hands. You can't change it. Take a deep breath. Step back. Be at peace. If you're a faith-filled peace person, turn it over to God. You have to adjust in how you respond. I can respond to problems in one manner and should, but facts of life and things I can't change, I just need to take a deep breath, release it, give it to God, and be at peace. Before I'm done here, I want to give you one more thing that I think is important on who you are becoming. I usually try to word everything in the positive, but I'm going to give you a negative spin. Stop looking for a secret trick, a shortcut. If I just follow this one thing, then I'll have untold riches, I'll be famous, I'll be successful. The moment anyone on the internet promises you something that's too good to be true, and that it's just simple, and all of the wise people who have ever lived in the universe were unable to discover it or find this except some huckster who wants to charge you a lot of money. Listen, grab a hold of your wallet or purse with both hands, turn the opposite direction, and run as fast as you can. There is no secret trick to success. There is no secret trick to who you are becoming. It's about who you are at the core, your core values. It's about the attitude that you've taken. It's about how committed are you day in, day out, sunshine days and rainy days. It's about how you respond to setbacks and difficulties, and my friend, they will come. It's about making those proper adjustments. If you can't change it, take a breath, be at peace, and move ahead. Stop looking for a secret trick. It's going to take dedicated, committed work, and you're building who you are becoming with the bricks of your daily habits and activities. My hope and prayer for you today, my friends, is you are becoming the best self that God has created you to be, and it will happen by your daily activities, your attitude, your values, how you respond, and your adjustments. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust that today this has been like a vitamin or a supplement for your heart and mind. And please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom and pass it on. And my friend, my final word for you today, reflect. Who are you becoming? And you have control over that. Until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.